The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Years ago, I shot 10 bags of heroin every day. Heroin is a beast, and that beast has infiltrated every town and city in America. In 2016, 64,000 Americans died of an accidental overdose of opioids. I hope that the stories we bring you on this show save lives in 2018. I'm Richie Farrell. I'm a heroin addict.
Hi, welcome to I'm a Heroin Addict. I'm Jasmine and I am a heroin addict. If this is your first time watching the show, welcome. We're happy to have you. For those of you that are tuning in and have been viewing, happy to see you again. So the show is taking a little bit of a shift, and that's really cool, and it's really exciting because we're always learning and we're always growing as spiritual beings. And so Richie Farrell, the gentleman that just did the intro, is no longer going to be the host of the show. I'm the host now. We still love Richie, and he'll still be filling in as a co-host. He's off doing like bigger and better things and doing other things elsewhere for recovery and to help people, which that's what this is really about. So it's an honor to introduce our new co-host. Our new co-host is Bobby.
Hi, how you guys doing?
For the viewers that didn't watch last week, Bobby, why don't you just tell everyone a little bit about yourself so they can start getting to know you and get comfortable with you?
Sure. So, again, my name is Bobby. I'm from Fairfield County, Connecticut. I moved up to New Hampshire about 2.5 years ago to get sober after my own battle with addiction. And I went from high school diploma, no discernible job skills, to now I work in the field. I try to help as many people as I can, and I like to have a good life today.
And for those of you that weren't watching the show 2 weeks ago, I would just like to let you know that Bobby admitted on the show that he is the guy in Connecticut that robbed everyone's cars.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Up to 2015.
Not that person anymore, though.
No.
And that turnaround is exactly what recovery can do for you. It's a lot of work, but it's certainly worth it. So it's really cool, and for everyone watching, I just want you guys to know that we didn't plan wearing matching shirts. Just happened.
I mean, great minds think alike.
Yeah.
Blue's my color. It's just, it happens.
You told me salmon was your color.
I have a lot of colors.
Okay.
I have a lot of colors. It's okay.
Let's see.
You'll keep up. It's okay.
Okay. All right. So we have a really awesome show for you guys today, and I'm really excited for our guest. Because being in recovery, I have had the opportunity and the ability to meet so many amazing individuals who were placed in my life exactly when I needed them. And our Skype guest today is someone who made a very profound impact in my life and in my sobriety when I first got sober. And she's still thriving and she's doing really awesome things. So it's an honor to introduce Dana. Hi, Dana.
Hi.
Hi, Dana.
Hi, Bobby. Hi, Jasmine.
How are you?
How are you doing today?
I'm so good.
Good.
I miss you.
I know, this is so cool. I'm so excited to have you on the show. So when I was in treatment, Dana was in treatment with me, and I was miserable. I was the definition of a red bomb, and I was miserable, and I was so rigid. And if you didn't pay attention to the rules and you didn't do them exactly how they were supposed to be, like, I lashed out at you. And Dana taught me how to lighten up.
So you were the teacher's pet, she was a class clown? Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, she got me into watching South Park.
You've never watched South Park?
No, I did, but
Okay.
I was so serious and like so scared to not be serious that like I wouldn't allow myself to watch TV.
Really?
I was so fearful.
So basically, Dana, you just brought some fun into the world.
Pretty much, but maybe a little too much at times.
I don't know if that's actually a thing.
It was.
If you asked the staff, it
Okay.
might have
Yeah.
been.
If you asked Chris, it was a thing.
Oh, we're not asking Chris. It's okay.
Hold on. Should we share?
Okay, yeah, so.
So.
It was like my first day there, maybe, I think, and I was like already in trouble with the CEO or whatever he is over there.
So this facility brought us off campus to go to outside things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Dana dropped Biggie Smalls lyrics in her share.
I respect that.
Hold on, was it Biggie? Did you drop Biggie Smalls or was that Katie?
No, that was Kate.
What did you?
And
What was
then
yours?
I was a 50 Cent lyric from. No, wait, it was a game. It was a game.
Really?
Hate it or love it. Yeah, the beginning like lyric.
Okay. I've accidentally dropped a Biggie quote in my share before. If you don't know, now you know.
I think that might have been what started it. Actually,
Yeah.
that exact quote.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay, Dana. So the disease of addiction or whatever, whether you think it is a disease, whether you don't think it is a disease, it doesn't really matter. How did this all start for you?
I guess it all started when I was about 12. I had my first drink, and the first time I drank, I got drunk, and I blacked out. And when I woke up the next morning, I immediately was like, I want to do that again. Like, I can't wait to do that again. And, like, now knowing what I know, I realize that that is not normal or characteristic of a normal drinker. Like, some people never black out, and that was, like, an idea. I don't know. That just, like, blew my mind when I heard that some people don't have blackouts, because every time I drank or used drugs, I was using to be unconscious and to be numb. Oh. And so, like, it just continued from there, basically, with just, like, drinking as much as I could, using whatever drugs I could get my hands on, and always having that feeling of it never being enough and always wanting more. And that could be applied to literally anything in my life. So yeah, it just kind of started like that, and then obviously took me down a road to opiates and heroin, and spiraled from there.
It's hard to believe looking at her because you're such a beautiful, bright young lady. You really are. How old are you now?
I'll be 26 in September.
26. So at the age of 12, you had your first drink, and it progressed. When did it start progressing from alcohol into other substances? Like, how did that progression happen for you?
Well, I think I was 14 the first time I tried marijuana, and then all through high school, it was pretty much whatever I could get my hands on, smoking weed every day, getting drunk all the time, and then I had tried, like, coke and, hallucinogens and stuff like that all throughout high school, and I had tried painkillers, but at first I didn't really like them. And then around, I want to say, like, 19, I tried painkillers again, and I was like, oh, okay, like, I like this, And at first, it was obviously just a weekend thing or at a party or whatever after a long night at work. But eventually.
Dana, can you hear us? Hello.
Hey, you there?
She's smiling. Okay, all right. Well, while we wait for that stuff to work itself out, I can certainly identify with that. I had my first drink at the age of 12.
Same here. And the whole concept to me, right, of people can, like, have a few drinks and don't go for blackout.
Yeah.
That was just so foreign to me.
I know.
Like, that, like, just literally didn't make sense to me.
I don't even know why someone would want to drink to not get drunk.
I heard normal people like the taste. I don't.
If you're watching and you're normal, is that true?
I mean, like, does anybody really like a natty daddy? I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the whole thing of, like, and I think the whole process of doing it young, you don't know what's normal.
Right.
You know, and, like, why are you gonna immediately jump to the fact that, like, you have a serious problem when you're, 15 and you're just getting started? After a couple years of, like, okay, here's some early warning signs, but, like, why am I going to take action at that young age?
Yeah, so I know, well, by the age of 14, I was a full-blown drug addict. And so that was like the identity that I had formed for myself in my mind, and I didn't really think that I was going to succeed or be much more than that. And that was like my truth all throughout my life until I finally like changed that mindset.
100%.
I don't know, for some reason we have some kind of technical difficulties here.
But yeah, the whole identity thing, right? Like, I think everybody craves an identity. I think everybody's looking for a place, especially when you're young. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be this, I want to be that. We don't really know who you are at that moment, at that age. So anything that you can attach yourself with, you're going to go with.
Yeah, and for me, like that's the environment that I grew up in, which makes my story like really cool and obviously very special to me because it's my story. But like I grew up in a home that you know, everyone was alcoholic and drug addicts, and like to be using substances at such an early age was normal, you know, and it was almost encouraged as long as I did it under my roof. So to think that I could actually like break free from that, you know, was something that I never ever thought was possible. And to me, it's very inspiring, and I like to offer that to other people because, like, I'm telling you, there's a whole other world out there that you don't even know about.
And I think with me, like, I wanted to rebel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
like, I was that
yeah.
defiant kid that, like, I'm going to figure out my way around things.
I still am. I still like to rebel.
100%. 100%. But, like, that was my identity, was that kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to go against everything.
You know what I would love to do for our viewers?
What?
I would love for us to bring in our pictures when we had grills. Talk about lost souls.
Oh, my God.
Bobby and I both had gold grills.
It was,
and we didn't even know each other. We were just like, we're totally on the same wavelength. Like, we both had grills. We're wearing blue shirts.
Yeah, great minds think alike.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, like, I feel like that whole rebellion thing's a big thing too. That, like, looking back on it, you could be like, oh wow, it's kind of like an early warning sign. But as a kid, you don't understand.
Yeah, of course. I was a behavioral addict long before I was ever, you know, before I ever suffered from my substance abuse disorder. And like, that's because the behaviors were treating the internal condition.
100%. And then to all outside eyes, you're just really into something.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like one of the big things about addiction and anything that goes along with that, right, is like there is inherently that stigma of like addiction is bad, right? So you're going to see somebody doing that kind of stuff and you're just going to be like, oh, it's just a phase. He's just going through it. And, you know, it's not something people want to address right off the rip.
Yeah, so we have a question, and I'm going to let you answer it.
Okay.
So we have a question from Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
What's up, Sarah?
Has your families been supportive of your recovery?
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I bet they're happy you're not stealing from their vehicles anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, my parents are both really good people. My entire family is really good people that just wants the best for me.
Yeah.
You know, and whether that's me, you know, it was told to me, like, I don't care if you're delivering pizzas, as long as you're happy. Right? And, like, it was so obvious that I wasn't happy when I was using. And, like, I'm me again.
Yeah.
I'm finally me again. And, like...
Do you find that you are, like just, like, an even, for lack of a better word, because I can't, like, find the word that I want to put it, like, a better version of you than you ever knew?
Oh, 100%.
Like, I could say I'm me again, but, like, no, dude. Like, I am, like, a whole new person that, like, I didn't even know I could be.
Well, I think that's the thing, right? So, like, I didn't know my potential.
Right.
I, like, even before, like, I was okay with mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was okay with just getting by. You know, I remember telling people, like, man, I just want to survive. I'm just trying to survive out here. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to thrive.
Yeah.
You know, and, like, the support for me to do that has been overwhelming. And it's, like, one of those things I couldn't ask for anything more.
That's okay. Can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So welcome back. Bobby and I were just talking, you know, about like all the really awesome things that and like where recovery brought us, and how we found out that like we really sold ourselves short, and like how there is really actually like this greatness that resides inside of us. So tell us a little bit about your life today.
So mainly I'm just a mom to Cullen. He's my 9-month-old son. But I like work a couple nights a week now, and really I just try to be a better version of myself than I used to be. I still meet with my sponsor like on a regular basis. but yeah, so I just basically meet with my sponsor on a regular basis. I still do my prayer and my meditation every day, and inventory, and try to help others when I can.
Okay. That's awesome. So you said that you're a mom.
Yeah.
That's really cool because you weren't a mom when we were in treatment together.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
How is that? Like, how is that experience to be able to show up for your baby?
It's so amazing, honestly. Don't get me wrong, it's really hard, but it's also really beautiful and really amazing. And I'm so grateful that he never has to see me drunk or high.
Yeah, because you were pretty vicious with your using. I remember you came to treatment from jail.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
So you suffered. Hey, there's a question for you, Dana.
Sure.
So this is from Ashley. Hi, Ashley. Thank you for
What's up,
watching. Bobby, you want to read it? You read it.
Yeah, sure. Is it important to stay out of a relationship in the first year of recovery?
Okay, so basically all I can say is my experience, but for me,
Oh no. Okay.
Okay.
Bobby and I can take this question away.
Okay.
Bobby, do you think it's important to stay out of a relationship your first year of recovery?
So I've been told multiple things, right? And they all come from people I trust. One of the things I like to go by is like, yeah, the first year, I could stay sober, but I could do also no work on myself. And I'm going to be the same exact person as the first year, as the day I came in, right? I always believe that I should do solid amount of work on myself.
Right.
And then know who I am before I get into a relationship, because it's not fair to that other person. Also, I'm going to have a lot of deep-seated insecurities, and I'm going to project them on people.
Yeah.
And when they don't do what I want, it's going to be not a great thing for either of us, you know? And I've had too many horror stories.
Right.
Of what happens to people when they get in early sobriety relationships, and usually it's not a good end.
I've lost a lot of friends.
Yeah.
I've lost a lot of friends.
Yeah.
But I think you brought up a really good point, because it just like, here's the deal in my experience. If you're not ready to do the work and you're not ready to get honest with yourself, like, you're not ready.
No, and that's the thing. So, like, why subject anybody else to that? You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my experience, Ashley, thank you for asking. So as I was sharing with Dana, sorry guys about all the technical difficulties that we had with that. I'm not really sure what's going on with Skype today, but regardless, it's what it was meant to be. So my experience with relationships in early recovery is I was so fearful. Mm-hmm. I was so fearful to do anything. Also, when I was in treatment, the guy that I had been seeing had passed away from this disease. So when I got out of treatment, for the first couple months, I stayed away from men entirely, and I went through the work, and I just started like working on myself really hard and taking a look at me. But my experience was that at 6 months sober, I got into a relationship, and here I am and this is not many people's experience. No. And here I am coming up on 2 years sober, and I'm still in a relationship with that same person. And it's been really challenging at times, really challenging at times. And if I didn't have coping skills and a support network to rely on, I probably still wouldn't be sober.
No,
So.
and that's my thing. I see that, and I also see, like, you talked about behavioral addictions, right? I've seen it so many times of people replacing one addiction with another, you know, and relationships can become an addiction when you're going through them over and over and over. You're looking for the honeymoon phase, the feel-good phase, and, you know, that ends, and then you moved on to the next one, and you don't realize the kind of wreckage that you're causing, you know, all the people that you're hurting, because it's not just you anymore. It's somebody else. You know, and that's kind of like any addiction. You know, there's always going to be people you don't necessarily think of that are being affected, but, you know, it's not just us, right? We're not the only people that we hurt.
That brings up another really good point is like, just like relationships in general, right? Like I believe that Ashley is referring to like intimate relationships, but relationships in general, you know, in early recovery, sometimes can be pretty toxic. So it's like super important that you surround yourself with healthy individuals that want the best for you and want the best for themselves.
And that's one of the big things, right? So like, I know for me, right, I crave acceptance.
Yes.
I do, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna look at the kids that seem like they have the most friends, and I'm gonna want to be their friend, and I'm gonna want to hang out with them, and like, I'm not knocking them or anything like that, but sometimes that's not the people that you want to be with, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I went from having friends, I like to equate it to that analogy, the crabs in the bucket.
I've never heard that.
You've never heard crabs in a bucket?
No.
Okay, so if you take like a big, like pail, like a bucket, right?
Okay.
And you fill it with crabs. Eventually, a crab's going to try to crawl out of the bucket. Another crab will grab its leg and pull it back down.
What?
Crabs will keep themselves in the bucket. They won't let any of the other crabs get out. They'll all keep each other down.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Right? So,
Okay.
like, my whole thing is, like, if I'm hanging out with people that aren't necessarily like, looking to make a huge change, right? If they're just trying to stay the same, if they see one of their friends trying to make a change, they're going to want them to stay the same too. Because then that means maybe I have to change.
Right, or look at myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean, energy's a real thing too, in my opinion, by the way. Just an opinion, I guess. But you know what I mean? Like, you tend to naturally just gravitate towards people who like are at the same place that you are.
yeah, it's the whole water seeks its own level thing.
Right.
There's so many different analogies, and I've seen it all happen. You know what I mean? It's not just like a one-off thing where it's just like, oh, it was just this one time I ended up hanging out with this kid. It's like, look at your pattern. If you're always hanging out with these people, you're always getting the same result. Why not try to hang out with people that are, you know, actively working to improve themselves,
Right.
that are actively trying to better themselves, that are trying to help others?
Yeah,
You know,
that's huge.
like one of the biggest things that I found is that people who are doing something, that are moving forward in their life, they're actually trying to change, they love to take people under their wing.
Yeah.
They love to show people how they did it and how they're going there. And those are the people I try to latch onto. And then in turn, maybe somebody sees, you know, me or you and wants to do the same thing, right? I know how many women you help. You know, it's astounding. But like, you had help from other women too.
Yeah, and I still do.
Oh, 100%.
On a daily basis.
100%.
I talk to my top 5 almost every day.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, I certainly, and the last month of my life was a really rough month. You know, I had a lot of life happen and a lot of circumstances that I hadn't been through yet in sobriety. And at times I found myself really reactive and emotional, which is not something that I had experience with, you know, except for in early recovery.
Yeah.
Like my first couple months, I was super reactive, but
Yeah.
yeah, and so that was really tough to go through all that, and it was like emotionally draining. And those women were there for me every day. They're still there for me every day. Yeah. So the show's almost over, and so thank you everyone for watching. This show wasn't exactly you know, what we had planned it out to be, but it's Bobby's first show with us, and so that's really cool.
Something's got to go wrong.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah, and this is Learning Curve, so thank you guys for learning and growing with us. You know, we still do have a little bit more time, but the show is about offering hope and inspiring others and educating people. So I want to make sure too, in like the last couple minutes that we hit on that, but we do have a question. Oh, this is a really good question. Is it tough to be around family that are in active addiction? Do you have family in active addiction?
Not at the moment.
Okay, cool. So I want to end the show with some inspiration.
Yeah.
So I grew up with no sober role models at
No.
all. And that's just how I grew up, and that's okay. And so along the way, I was in and out of treatment, and I found sobriety for a while, but I didn't do the required work internally that I had to do. And through doing that, and by the way, my family is totally okay with me sharing this, my mom found her way. And my mom was my running partner for a long time. My mom found her way. I was not able to maintain sobriety, and I hated my mom that she was sober. And so me and my mom made it, and I say we made it, but it's not like we've got this thing in the bag. It's work every day. But so my mom and I found our way to sobriety, and I have a younger brother that I literally love more than anyone else that I love in this entire world. Growing up the way we grew up, we just kind of grew up like in the trenches, and so all we had was one another.
Yeah.
And so my younger brother has been an active heroin addict since he was 14 years old, and he's 29. And so where that brought him is very similar places that brought me, like being homeless, not showering, not eating. And so, for like the first year of my sobriety, I would go visit my younger brother in a tent that he lived in, and I would bring him food when I could go see him, and I would bring him comfort items because I wasn't going to enable him and bring him money.
Yeah.
And I would just cry and cry and cry, and I'd be like, we're going to have to bury my brother. And that's not the case, because today my brother is 7 months sober.
Dude, look at that.
I know.
That's insane.
And I really believe that like I was an inspiration to him, and my mother was, and now he's like 7 months sober and he's thriving. But we got 45 seconds left. What do you want to tell our viewers?
If you're having any problems, if you need any help, if there's anything like that, there is a way out. There is a way to get better. It's worked for me. It's worked for you. It's worked for countless other people in my life. So you just don't have to keep doing the way you're doing. And if you have made it out, like, spread it.
Yeah. Oh my
Spread
God.
it.
That's amazing. That's really awesome. No one said that on the show yet.
Really?
Yeah. Absolutely. Pass it on. Share with other people. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate your time. I love all of you. I really think we should end with Bobby's words all the time. Just spread the love to everyone. Love y'all. Thank you.
Bye.
Years ago, I shot 10 bags of heroin every day. Heroin is a beast, and that beast has infiltrated every town and city in America. In 2016, 64,000 Americans died of an accidental overdose of opioids. I hope that the stories we bring you on this show save lives in 2018. I'm Richie Farrell. I'm a heroin addict.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.